I'm probably somewhere in between, and I pushed Ruben Amorim quite hard after the game at the Etihad on Sunday on his system, on the fact that clearly it's not bringing the best out of Bruno Fernandes, but he's not for turning. He insists the system is not the problem, that it will come good, and maybe those stats back him up. 31 games he's had in the Premier League, 8 wins in the Premier League, not one back-to-back games, as that caller we heard in the package suggested. And at the moment, it's relegation form. They're 1 point above the relegation zone. They've got Chelsea at home on Saturday, which looks a very difficult game to make a case for United winning. Then they go to Brentford, who've caught me by surprise. I think they look a much better team than I expected with all the upheaval they've had this summer. And then Sunderland at home. And I think it's difficult to make a case for United beating Sunderland at the moment. Well organised, well coached. Two things that Manchester United don't appear to be. And I don't think we're too far away now from the players losing belief in the manager. There's been some suggestions out on the back pages in one or two papers today, and I think you can see by the body language, Bruno Fernandes not tracking his man for the first goal. I'm not sure they have faith in this system that results are going to turn. I think the goalkeeping situation has been a debacle, because I think we all know that Altay Bayindir isn't good enough to be a Manchester United or even a Premier League number one. I don't know why they decided to hang their hat on him at the start of the season. That obviously affected Andre Onana's confidence. You saw that in the game against Grimsby in the Cup when he chucked two in the back of his own net, and ultimately his United career ended there. I think Sonny Lamans probably should have gone straight into the team at the weekend. Patrick Dorgu is a player they've signed purely, it seems, because he fits this system that Amorim wants to play. Well, he's not good enough. You know, he got himself in some brilliant crossing positions, regularly hit the first man. That was when he wasn't finding himself in an offside position. And if you asked any United fan, and probably even Amorim himself, at the end of last season, who have been the two best players for United, Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo would have been the answer. Well, both of those are being used wrongly. I mean, Amad looks totally lost to me. Is he a left wing back? Is he a right wing back? Is he a winger, which I think is where he really wants to play? Or is he a number 10? We've spoken about Bruno. So it's not just the system, it's the personnel changes as well. And I was speaking to a coach at another club yesterday, and he was saying, look at the stats, and I don't know if you got this statistic, but pretty much every game, he changes one of the centre-backs after 70 minutes. Now, if you're playing in a back three, that's the one position you don't really need to tinker with, because you're not using as much energy. So what is that substitution all about? And the Kobbie Mainoo...
Well, he's got to bring his striker on, Harry Maguire.
You joke, but I think Harry Maguire's coming on in games more because of what he can do in the opposition penalty area.
Because they're chasing
than what he can do in his own. And the Kobbie Mainoo situation is infuriating.
Yeah, sad.
Because you go back to the 2024 FA Cup final, he scores in that game, he runs the midfield against Manchester City, United defy the odds and they win the FA Cup, it keeps Erik ten Hag in a job. A few weeks later, he comes in and solves that number 6 issue that England had at the European Championships. He plays in the European Championship final. He's been criminally underused by Ruben Amorim, and I speak to people close to Kobbie Mainoo, and they say to me, he doesn't fancy him. Kobbie believes the manager doesn't have any faith in his ability. And I think that's a real dereliction of duty, a player who's come through the academy. And I heard a caller on, I'm ranting here, but I heard a caller on Drive last night talking about the system. If Ryan Giggs was a Manchester United player now, he'd struggle to get in the team.
This is a good
because he doesn't fit the system.